also known as the Cailleach in Irish mythology, is basically a deity that controls the weather.
The hag is a woman. It's a woman that you didn't like her. You would call her an old hag.
The old hag would be, there could be a lot of, again, different parts of the country with different interpretations of it. She could be the old widow woman, the biddy, the odd woman, kind of the one that we associated with evil, with the Pishogri, with the dark side.
You've just seen a collection of interpretations of the hag, also known as Cailleach or white woman. But what is actually known as the hag? She's not just an old witch like this. Her age, powers, connotations and also connections to Ireland differ greatly from story to story. The main goal of this video is trying to grasp the concept of the hag and to explain the role of this mythical creature in the Irish folklore.
To start things off, the name Cailleach means veiled one. We found that she is not only literally veiled, but also in a more symbolic way. Her being veiled makes it impossible to see what she looks like, so she can basically be anything. This is why she is not only found as an actual immortal woman, but also as creator and dominator of nature and in connection with nourishment, which makes the Cailleach a concept that is hard to fully grasp. At the cliffs of Moser you can find the hag's head. The last sheaf of hay of the harvest is called the hag, and she is also known as a weather deity. As a female figure, she is also connected to the other world. To explain the role of the old hag in Irish folklore, and since she cannot be explained as one single thing, we would like to give you some examples of stories.
The hag is found in old Irish harvesting traditions. During the corn harvest in September or early October, the farmers would leave the last sheaf in the field. This is what they called the hag, and it was braided to represent an old woman who was generally blamed for any misfortune suffered by the people. There are multiple ways to explain the power of the last sheaf. Firstly, the last sheaf was used as a method of murder by magic. The sheaf was baptized by using the words of the baptismal formula backwards in the name of the person to be killed. After that, the sheaf was buried. The belief was that as the sheaf rotted in the ground, the victim would simultaneously decline. Another tradition is to let the girls cut the last sheaf. The girl who would succeed in one blow was thought to be married within a year. The custom with the sheaf was used differently from region or county. In all stories, the hag, the last sheaf, is symbolized as something very powerful, both negative or positive.
Furthermore, the hag is often seen as the personification of Ireland and its landscape, kind of as a sovereign figure over it. In a way, it makes sense that this is regarded as being female. Think of it. How many people refer to a country as she? The clip in the background was shot at the cliffs of Moher. There is a modern story about a hag called Mel. It is usually told to tourists only. Mel chased an Irish hero who escaped by jumping all the way from Loop Head to the cliffs of Moher. As she tried to do the same, she crashed against the cliffs and disappeared in the water. Her head washed up on the shore a few days later. From those days, the southernmost point of the cliffs was known as the Hag's Head, and the noises of the waves are believed to express her torment over lost love. If you look closely, the rock formation resembles a head looking out to the Atlantic as well. This showcases two of the most central aspects of the Cailleach. She is regarded as the shaper who has formed the features of landscape and the personification of the powers of nature, both productive and destructive, even in modern time, as this little story proves.
Another representation of the hag is the Cailleach Vera. She is the most celebrated one of the otherworld woman in Irish folklore. In Irish folklore, she is the representation of many different aspects, such as landscape, harvest and food, but also as the human looks of hers. The most famous story about her says that her age can be counted by the number of bones in her attic, because every year she would kill a bull and eat it. However, no one is able to count them all because there are so many. She is basically the epitome of longevity. When asked how she got so old, her answer would be that the top of her head had never seen the air, the sole of her feet had never touched the ground, she would never eat unless she was hungry, and she had never stayed in bed after awakening. As you can see, in this story you can recognize the aspects food, otherworld connection by her immortality, and also her human looks. As it is said that she had 50 foster children, she is sometimes also called the mother of tribes and races. In that way, she might very well represent Ireland and its people itself. This is why she is such an important figure.
Those 3 short introductions to the hag provided you with a few ideas about the concept of the hag. They showcased her connections to harvest rituals, nature and landscape, the otherworld, and her being of human form, as well as their interconnectedness. So what exactly is the hag? We can only answer this vaguely at best. There is no absolute answer, but our idea of the hag is that she is one of the most central Irish female folklore figures. As a female figure, she is connected to the Keening women, to midwives, to fairies, to wise old women, landscape, nature, and more. As the female in general is the personification of the otherworld realm in Irish tradition, she is also a gateway to the otherworld. We imagined the whole thing as a big spider web to which all of the figures of folklore are connected. Our idea is that the hag is basically at the center of it, connected to everything. This makes the hag a lot more complicated than we anticipated. By trying to figure out the concept of the hag, we are honestly left with even more questions than we had started with.
Hi, I'm Julia.
Hi, I'm Fabian.
We did a project about a hag together. And we started off with a lot of brainstorming and trying to find as much information about the hag as possible.
First of all, we did a lot of reading, of course, as expected. We read through the referenced books, and Julia got the book of the Cailleach from the library, while I tried to find it online because there was only one in the library, but I didn't quite succeed, unfortunately. So then we continued to brainstorm on the video, what we should include and what we should do. And all the while, Julia started to interview people to get possible material for the video, which we might use.
Yeah, so then after we had all the information, which was actually way too much, we tried to actually make the video, and Fabian did all the editing, which was a lot of work.
While we were working on the video, we found out that we lack actual footage or material on the Cailleach, and Julia had a lot of troubles to find images that would fit our content, or also videos that fit our content. And unfortunately, we missed the Galway Halloween parade, which would have been awesome because there were a few Cailleachs, as you have seen in the video. Yeah, and then after we finally found all of our stuff, Julia did all the referencing things with the images and also the literature sources we had. And yeah, basically our biggest struggle was that our video turned out to be too long.
Yeah, which is a good thing, I think. So, yeah, and this was the result. Yay!
I hope you enjoyed.
Yay!
Bye!